Hey Tubies, it's Psychic Bob. Well, here I am. Been trying to chillax today. I got on my cool witchcraft t-shirt. I'm wearing my little fish. These are things that make me feel good, that bring me some peace. Now, some of you are saying, Psychic Bob, where have you been today? We've been waiting for horoscopes. Well, first of all, let me apologize for not getting that video out earlier. Psychic Bob had to take a sick day, a day off. I'm not really sick, but I have needed to recuperate. Last night I had a very scary experience. I was in a fire. As many of you know, I live in a high-rise condominium, and we occasionally have incidents here. A few years ago, we had a major fire that started down in the basement. There was an explosion of some turpentine that had been stored in an area where it exploded. And I wasn't here when that happened. But it was a pretty major fire. My unit was smoke damaged at that time. Luckily, the building insurance took care of everything. My home was cleaned and restored, no problems. Because it wasn't at that fire, I didn't experience anything. Last night, I was getting ready for bed. I was up. I always stay up late. I'm a night person. It was about 2 a.m. and I was getting ready for bed. And the fire alarm went off. Now, any of you who have ever lived in a high-rise condominium, you probably are familiar with this. Many times, fire alarms go off in big buildings, and then nothing ever really comes of it. So it's like, you get up in the middle of the night, you go all the way down, and then they turn it off, and by the time you get down there, it's all over. And this happens, probably I'd say once, maybe every 2 or 3 months at our building, a few times a year. So many of us, myself included, I have to be honest, become a little blasé. Because, for example, last night the alarm went off and I looked out the window. Well, I didn't see anything. I said, well, I don't see anything. I don't see smoke. I don't smell anything. I went out in the hallway. Didn't smell any smoke. And I thought, well, this is no big deal. So I literally just took my time getting dressed and putting on my shoes. Didn't seem like anything urgent. And, because this has happened, as I said, many of us are blasé. A lot of people, I hate to say it, but I gotta be honest, a lot of people don't even leave the building. They just stay in their unit because they don't see anything. It's like, unless you really see flames and smoke, it's generally a waste of time, to be honest with you. A lot of us feel that way, to go all the way down because the elevators are out. Now, remember, I live in a high rise, so we're like a 16-story high rise. And can you imagine walking 16 floors all the way down and then have to walk up 16? Because usually the elevators shut down. So a lot of people generally don't want to deal with it unless it feels imminent. And one other time, actually, there's been 2 fires here. One other time, about a year or 2 years ago, there was a house that had a kitchen fire down on, well, I don't want to say what floor it was because I don't want to implicate anybody in anything. But I don't know, in the lower floors. I'm up near the top of the building, literally. I'm up near the 16th floor. But there was a fire, and that was a little scary because we went down the stairwell. It was in the afternoon, and there was a little bit of smoke. It's like somebody had been smoking cigarettes in the stairwell. So as you're going down, you're like, oh, I can smell smoke. But you don't really say anything. But it was a little scary because you thought, oh, I could actually smell smoke this time. And but generally you're safe in our stairwells because they're solid cinder block and concrete. My building is an older building, and this is one of the best built buildings in Alexandria because literally it's so solid. The walls are like 2 feet thick, solid plaster, and this building is just solid. And so the last time there was a fire, fires at our building, when they have happened in the past, fire department told me the walls are so thick in these units that they're self-contained. It's like just, Well, anyway, so I have to give you some background so you understand what it's like. So last night, as I said, I was being very blasé about all this. And I went in the hall, and some neighbors of mine who live near me, there's a young family They have 3 boys, young boys, ages around 6 to 10 years old, I'm going to say. The father was away on a business trip, so the mother comes out in the hallway, and she sees me in the hallway. And she says, "Is this anything? Do we need to go down?" I said, "Well, I'm just seeing if the alarm's going to stop." Because a lot of times when you stand in the hallway, you know, the alarm will just cut off as soon as you get ready to go. So I was stretching it to the last minute, I have to be honest. And I said, "I don't smell any smoke. I couldn't see anything out my window." I said, "Did you look out your window?" She said, "Yeah, I couldn't see anything." Now, our building kind of has a kind of an L shape to it, so depending on where you are, well, it's kind of hard to explain, but it has parts of it that jut out. So imagine like kind of like somewhat of an accordion style in places. So you can't really see every part of the building when you look out, because the way your window might be situated, you look out and see half of the building, but you can't see another half. But generally, if it's something big, you're going to see it, you know. Well, none of us saw anything, so we weren't really worried. So we took our time, you know, thinking about, should we go? And I walked over to the stairwell door near the elevators, and I could smell smoke. I said, "Uh-oh." I said, "I actually can smell smoke." I opened the stairwell door. I didn't see anything. I said, "Well, this is probably like that other time, that kitchen fire." I said, "We should go anyways." So the lady said, "Well, do you think maybe I'll stay? It's a lot to, you know, with the little kids." And I said, "No, we better go." So we start going down the stairwell. Well, there was like literally maybe one other person going down. As I told you, a lot of people don't go down, or they're blasé. And so there was literally just me and this woman and her 3 children in the stairwell. We started going down the stairwell. Well, when we got down around, remember, we're starting up like at 16th floor. And when we got down around 7th, it was like 7th floor, the smoke was visible. Suddenly there was visible smoke in the stairwell. And we were a little taken aback. I have never been in a stairwell with visible smoke. And she said, "Oh my God, I'm scared." I said, "No, we're going to be okay." Because it was lights. It was as if like 3 or 4 people had been smoking and just blowing out smoke into it. So it was about that much smoke. You could see, you could move. It was not, you know, the end of the world, or at least we thought. Well, by the time we got down 2 more floors, 5th floor, the smoke became literally a billowing cloud came up so thick that we couldn't see it. Literally, our vision went. That scared me because suddenly I couldn't breathe. So I took my shirt and I covered my face like this. And she said, oh my God, we have to go up. We have to go up." It became black, literally. And the boys, their young boys, were really scared. They're like, "I don't know what to do." And they were very nervous. And I realized they were starting to panic. And I realized I had to take charge of this. You know, I thought, all right, we're going into bastard teacher mode. We're going to teach class, except this is a psychic survival class today. And I said, I want everybody just to stay still, don't panic. Because one of the little boys, the youngest one, started to run. I said, "Don't run, you'll get lost." So I told the boys, you know, just hold hands, stay together. And I said, "I want you to take your shirts." I had t-shirts on. I said, "Cover your faces. Do not breathe. Hold your breath as much as you can." As we started to go down another floor, it then escalated to where total blackout. And she said, the mother said to me, "Maybe we should go back up. Maybe we could cut across the hallway." Because we have different stairwells in our room. We have like 4 different ways to exit. Well, I said, "I don't know where the fire is coming from." And I said, "We didn't see it on our section of the building." And I said, "I'm afraid," because I said, "if we try to go up, we could get trapped." And I said, "If we go down a different corridor of the building, we could cut through the stairwell to a different floor." I said, "We could get trapped in another corridor with even worse smoke." And I said, "It could be flames and we could get really stuck. And we have a large building." I said, "It's quite a distance to get to the next exit point." And I said, "I don't think we should risk it." I said, so I started calculating. I said, well, we're at floor, like at this point, I think we're at floor 5. Luckily, you know, I had the sense about me to start when we left our floor. This is something I learned a long time ago. When you're in a fire, you're going down during fire, keep count of what floor you're on. Because when you know what floor you're on, you can gauge where you are, or if somebody comes to rescue you, or you have to yell out a window, you can tell them exactly what floor you're on. And it makes it easier for everybody. So for some reason, I had the sense to keep track of what floor we're on. And I said, at that point, I said, we're on floor 5. Well, it's literally billowing smoke, and we were so trapped. It's like even to go up at that point was almost impossible because we couldn't see anything. So I told them, the family, I said, hold on to the handrail, hold hands, with your hand, try to keep in touch. And I said, keep your faces covered. And we literally, it was like descending into like a flaming inferno, a pit of hell. But I figured, I was calculating, well, 5 floors is, it's not that long, maybe 2-3 minutes if we just keep steadily moving. I thought, that long, if our faces are covered, we can keep our together, we'll get out. Well, finally we got down to the ground floor, the lobby floor, and I knew where we were, and I felt for the door, and I got the door. Remember, there's no visibility. And when we opened the door, the firemen were there. They were just starting to come into the stairwell. And they grabbed us literally and pulled us out. And I'll tell you, it was really, really scary. And when I went outside the building, literally there were giant flames, like 12 feet high, coming out of one part of the building. And the entire building all the way up was scorched. And there were people out there. There was probably like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 fire trucks, ambulances. And then I thought of another neighbor of mine that, when that family came out, I didn't have time to check on this other neighbor. And I thought, God, I should have gone down and knocked on this neighbor. And I thought, well, because I was late getting out, I figured, she'd probably gone, and I didn't see her in the parking lot. And so I went around the building. And when I got to the back side of the building, because we have windows and balconies on both sides of the building, there were literally people screaming out their windows. They were trapped in their apartments, and they were taking like furniture and smashing out the windows. And the firemen were running back there literally and putting up ladders and, like the crane, or what do you call it, the escalating truck thing, and literally pulling people out of their windows. Some people on the lower floors, the smoke escalated so fast that they couldn't even get out of their units. And it's interesting. I'd heard a fireman say one time to me that I was talking to, we were talking about fires, and I told a fireman one time, I said, I'm glad I live in this building because I said, it's so solid. I said, no flames will ever burn you. Now, the good part is the flames themselves didn't travel far. But the fire was so intense that the smoke created major damage in the building and caused people to be trapped. And the fireman said to me, and I remember this, he said, the flames never really kill people. He said, it's the smoke that kills people. And I actually really believe and understand that now. Now, what's really kind of scary is that the stairwell that I exited was not near the fire. As I said, we have like 4 exits. I was quite a ways away from the actual fire. And our stairwell filled with that much smoke to where it was almost impassable. And, the family I was taking down and escorting down, they were scared. They're like, I don't want to go down. Let's go back. Let's go back. It's too bad. It's too bad. And I said, no, we're so close. I said, to go back would put us in greater risk. Would it have? I don't know. I've been thinking about this all day because it's like, I was weighing it as a calculated risk. As a psychic, it's funny because my psychic senses were coming to play, and I kept saying, spirit people, oh my God, spirit people, help us. And I kept getting like this message, just keep going, just keep going. So I felt like I was being guided, by my spirit people. And Fletcher was there. I knew he was telling me, just go. And I couldn't logically explain it to the spirit. In their mind, they're like, why do you want to go down into that black pit where we can't see anything? You're crazy. You're going to die. And I just knew. And then, logically, I was trying to say, well, it's so many floors, it's so many minutes, we could probably make it. And I also have to tell you, I was thinking about, this is going to sound terrible to say, but I was thinking about 9/11. Many of you know in the United States back in September 11, 2001, when the World Trade Center fires, the attacks happened, that is kind of a similar scenario where there were people that were above the fire and then they had to go down. Now, this is how it was in our building. The fire was actually down on the 2nd floor, and we're up like on 16th floor. So the fire was below us, and we had to go down through the smoke, not knowing. Now, I have to remember, we didn't know where the fire was because we couldn't physically see it from our area, our vantage point, looking out our windows, the way the building is shaped. So it was a calculated risk. And I told her, I said, you know, in my mind, I kept telling this family and the mother, I said, I think to go back up is going to put us at greater risk. And I was thinking also about 9/11 because many people died, tried to go down, and then they got scared of the smoke and they didn't keep going. They went back up. And then when the fire really escalated, they were trapped and couldn't get down. And I was kind of visualizing a scenario like that. I was thinking, the fire's somewhere below us, and it's going to possibly get worse. And that smoke isn't going to stop rising, so we might as well risk it. And we were so close, only 5, at that point we were like 5 floors down from the ground to be totally out of the building. And I judge it as I guess a necessary risk, but I got to tell you, that was scary. It was scary to go into pure, I mean, I don't know how to describe this, but any of you have ever been on fire, maybe see you've ever been, but to look into a stairway and you can't see anything, and you're going to go right into that pit of black smoke. That was the only choice we had at that point, because the whole building, at that point, somebody else did come down, and when they opened the door, the floor, the 5th floor, was filled with smoke. And I thought, oh my God, I said, to go through that, you know, it's even a greater risk to try to cut through the building. It could even be worse over in another section. So we got down, the firemen were there, pulled us out, so, you know, looked us over, we're all okay. My throat today has been sore from the smoke, but I'm okay. The whole building, though, just smells terrible. They've got professional cleaners here, been cleaning and putting in air vents. I've had my place being aired out with fans today. I didn't have a lot of smoke damage here, a little bit, but nothing that's going to require like major repair or professional stuff. Just needs to be aired out, because as I said, I was on the whole other end of the building because the way the building is shaped. But I'll tell you one thing, I will never, ever be blasé about a fire alarm again. I've been here at this building like 15, 16 years. And in the 16 years I've been here, every time we had a fire drill, or fire, actually, even an actual fire, it's always been so minor and nothing. So that's why I said blasé. I'm like, oh, nothing's going on, no fire trucks down front. And then finally, like, you know, a few minutes later, fire trucks said, I'm like, oh, well, they always come just to check it out. And then the time they get here, it's over. So I still waited, like, as I said, probably 10, maybe 15 minutes before I even left. And that was a major mistake because, you know, you can't wait. So I always want to tell you guys, if you've never been in a fire, and especially if you live in a high rise, you know, don't take it for granted. Don't say, you know, don't be blasé, because those minutes I really discovered made a difference and how intense the experience was. So, anyways, I wanted to share that with you. I didn't sleep all night because we were literally out on the street till about 5 this morning. I was like, got in, and literally around 5:30 the sun rose. So I was out on the streets hanging out with people. I went up to, believe it or not, I went to CVS, ran into people for the building up there. We were all buying water and just talking about, wow, this was kind of freaky. Anyways, I'm going to put a link below this video to about our building. I was hesitating whether to tell you, you know, about this because, you know, YouTube, one of the things they said, don't tell people where you live because it puts you in danger. But really, kind of, people already know where I live. I'm kind of a public person, and I'm well known, and there's really no, you know, if people want to find out where you live, they really want to find, they can find out through public records, because I'm a homeowner. I bought this place. So when you own stuff, it's public records. So I'm going to, you know, put out my video. Will show you a little bit more about the fire. The video doesn't really capture how scary it was on the inside, but it tells a little bit about it. But you'll see kind of bad about it. if you're somebody watching this and you say, oh, I know where Psychic Bob lives, I ask you, please respect my privacy. Please don't come to my home looking for me. I'm okay. The reason I say this is when I first started becoming well known, somebody did leak my address. And I used to have mobs of people that would come and wait to see me. And I would come home and there'd be people outside my condo, literally mobs of people begging to see me, trying to get an autograph, trying to get a reading, trying to get pictures. And it really stresses me out. I don't like to be mobbed. I love all of my friends, and I don't want to say fans. I don't believe in fans. I believe everybody's part of my family. And I love all of you. But when I don't know you and you just rush me and mob me at my home, it kind of overwhelms me. At one point I actually was investigating hiring security from bodyguards because it was getting really bad and I had no privacy. I would literally have people, because I have a high security building, people couldn't get to my actual door, but they would get in the lobby. Actually, at one point, no, people did actually get to my door up on my floor. They found out what floor I was on, and I would come in the hallway and have like 30 people lined up outside my door, sitting in the hallway. And I would come down the hall and they're like, oh my God, Psychic Bob. I'm very touched by the attention, but it's a little scary to me to get mobbed in my own home. So if you do know where I live and you can figure it out through this video, which it's not hard to find out where Psychic Bob lives, please, I ask you, don't come to my house. If you want to call me, you can call my office, and I'll have that link number below. But please just don't show up at my house because I really can't handle that, okay? Please understand. Any of you have ever been like in a public position? I know some of the YouTubers who watch me are really way more well known than I am. You guys understand this, what it's like to get mobbed at your house by people you don't know. And the problem is that a lot of people, they know me. You all know me. We know each other, but we don't really know each other until, we know each other. And some people have never personally written to me, but they feel that they know me and they show up and stalk me. And it's honestly, it's not dangerous. Most people are really nice people. I've had a few incidences where some YouTubers, though, in the past have been dangerous, and it has required security intervention. So please honor my privacy and don't come to my house, okay? But I think it would be interesting for you to see a little bit about the fire. So anyways, that's my story. I'm not doing horoscopes. I'm tired. I just don't have the energy. I gotta have some downtime to process all this. So hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. We're gonna have messages from the spirit world because Tuesday. So forgive me. We're not gonna do horoscopes at least today. We always have a full schedule, and I don't like to start switching stuff around. It confuses everybody. So we'll probably just skip horoscopes this week. We'll have it next week. And tomorrow we'll go to our normal routine of messages from the spirit world, okay? I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Say your prayers for me and for all the people in the building. Some people, by the way, I didn't give you the statistics. I think 3 or 4 people ended up in the hospital because the smoke was so bad. Some firemen ended up in the, firemen to end up going to the hospital, that tells you something. They're professionals. Even they got overtaken. So it was pretty bad. But Psychic Bob's here. I'll live to see another day. Thanks, guys. I love you. We'll see you tomorrow for messages from the spirit world. And until then, may you always, blessed